The one and only Bill O'Reilly is here, and he's helping me sort out the biggest issues in the news. As we speak, American aircraft carriers, stealth fighters, and warships are amassing in the Middle East, and the U.S. appears to be on the absolute brink of a war with Iran. And we have to ask, is there any chance of a nuclear deal? If the missiles start flying, what does a conflict actually look like? Are we talking about surgical strikes that last days, or a full-scale regional war that drags on for years? And of course, the ultimate question, is this actually in America's best interests to go in? Then we're going to pivot to the ongoing fallout from the massive Epstein file dump. What exactly are the Clintons hiding? Hillary Clinton has been center stage this past week on a media blitz, going on the absolute offensive, accusing Donald Trump and his Justice Department of an Epstein cover-up. Is it genuine outrage, or is it pure calculated projection? And speaking of Epstein, the global contrast could not be starker. Just today, former Prince Andrew was arrested in the UK for misconduct in public office related to the Epstein ties. European countries all over are exacting real criminal consequences on Epstein collaborators. Yet here in the US, Jay-Z proudly attends the Super Bowl. Billionaires like Bill Gates remain totally unscathed, and the biggest names of the animals in the emails remain heavily redacted. Why? Let's get into it. Keeping it real with Jillian Michaels. Sir, so good to see you. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling okay. We're toughing it out here. It's a hereditary malady. And I'm an old guy, so you just have to plow through it. But I'm up and running and causing trouble, and that's the important thing.
Thank goodness. I've got a lot to ask you about. I am so grateful for your voice because you give me clarity without tribalism. And the first thing I want to discuss is Iran. So what are we doing here? Are we going to war with these guys? This started out, in my understanding, as an uprising in the beginning of January. I was under the impression maybe it's because they were encouraged by the fact Trump took out Maduro. We didn't go in. Trump said help's on the way. He didn't go in. But now maybe he's going to go in under the pretense of stopping them as a nuclear power. What's happening here?
Well, the president does not want to initiate military action against Iran because of the civilian casualties. And, bombing the major centers in that country would lead to thousands of dead Persians. So he doesn't want to do it. He wants to make a deal. And the deal is that Iran would give up all its nukes and allow inspectors in on a regular basis. And it would destroy all its ballistic missiles, which are targeted to Israel. And it would let some of the protesters who were arrested in the aborted uprising out. And the mullahs are being disrespectful to the United States. Now, no action was going to take place before the Olympics are over, because that just would have shattered that whole thing. But they're done on Sunday. And Monday is a tough day for the mullahs, because I don't think Donald Trump's going to allow them to just sit there with the status quo. But their Pentagon has drawn up. They know what they're going to do. There's 3 or 4 scenarios.
Okay.
But it's up to the president to decide what and when. And I don't think he's made that decision yet.
What are the scenarios, do you think?
Well, look, you want to downgrade the enemy's capability to cause trouble, so military targets would be hit. So their Air Force and their Revolutionary Guard headquarters, okay, and all of that, okay? Probably their shipping would be knocked down. That's the degrading factor. Then they might hit the nuclear facility again.
Because didn't we do that? That's right. That's what I'm sorry, Bill. I don't mean to interrupt you, but I thought we just did this in 12 days and we took all that stuff out, and now and it was a huge success, and we're not talking about regime change. We're talking about nuclear again. I'm like, but I thought we just wiped that out.
Well, look, the nuclear threat is there because they won't allow inspectors, so nobody knows if they got 1 or 2 warheads, and that's what Trump wants to know. But the other situation is the Persian people are not going to be able to overthrow the mullahs with the army intact. So that you saw that it was tens of thousands
Yeah.
of Persians who were either killed or incarcerated or terrorized, because it's not like Venezuela where the generals there said, yeah, go and take Maduro. We don't care, which they didn't. They were all paid off.
Right.
In Iran, they'll fight. So you got to downgrade that. Once you do and knock out the mullah's protection, then it's a lot easier for the people themselves to overthrow this heinous theocracy. So that's where we are.
I see. Okay. So he would essentially help facilitate the people of Iran to take these guys down, because from the outside looking in, when it's like, well, the Iranians have to do it, and you're thinking, how are they going to do that? They have no weapons, they have no guns, they're being killed by the thousands. Like, this is an absurd ask. How are they supposed to do that without help? Trump could.
Well, that's what help is on the way is all about.
Okay.
So we'll downgrade the mullah's ability to suppress you, but you have to do it yourself. The United States can't go in like we did in Venezuela, because it's a much easier situation there, and remove them, because that'd be ground troops, and Trump is never going to do that.
Of course.
But the mullahs, I think their time is just about up.
Okay. Can you talk to me about what a free Iran looks like for America? Because obviously there's the America only aspect of America first. And those people make a pretty convincing argument when they talk to you. Oh, I want this for our roads and our streets and our schools and this and that. And I'm not sending my son to die over there. You're like, okay, got it. Then there's the America first means what's best for America. And a free Iran means cheaper oil, no leverage for China and Russia. And they make that whole argument. They're the number one funders of terror over there. What does a free Iran look like for America?
Probably the same thing as Venezuela, where Maduro got whacked, and he'll never see the light of day again. And then Trump allowed his sub-government to take over. But the caveat was, you got to do what America says. So there's no American ambassador in Caracas. It's run by the CIA. And the CIA tells the Venezuelans, you're going to do this. And the Venezuelan goes, okay. That's what it would look like in Iran. They would put people in, all right, maybe some people from the outside, I'm not sure, but it would be run by the United States. And then you have a domino effect. So if Iran isn't sending guns and weapons to Hamas anymore, Hamas dissolves, Hezbollah dissolves, Houthis dissolve. All of that goes away, which is a boon for the world, which is why the EU, a couple of weeks ago, declared Iran a terrorist state. And that's what the president's going to use to go in unilaterally, despite some Congress people wanting him to get congressional approval and all that. So he's going to say, look, it's a terrorist state. Everybody knows it. Even the EU says it. So we have the power to take them out because of what happened on 9/11.
Why doesn't he just let Israel do it? A lot of people have said Netanyahu wants to go in. We've been stopping them. If Americans don't want to see it, they don't want boots on the ground, why don't we just get out of the way for those of us who are very opposed?
Well, because Iran has ballistic missiles aimed right at Jerusalem and Tel Aviv. So it's not going to be a great outcome.
I understand.
Israel's a tiny country. It's a defensive country. It doesn't have any capacity to take out a much larger country, Iran.
Historically, can you help me understand this? Supposedly, Hillary Clinton, and I say this supposedly because maybe I'm getting it wrong, Hillary Clinton allowed the Iranians to have uranium, of course, under the pretense of turning on the lights. Then Obama apparently, allegedly, sent planes filled with cash, apparently to placate them, and Biden then removes all restrictions. Is this true? And if so, why? Why?
Hillary wasn't involved. That was John Kerry, Secretary of State, who was a real villain. And they wanted to make a deal. President Obama wanted to make a deal with the Iranians that they would tamp down their nuke program and stop funding terrorism. And the deal was, we'll allow frozen money because that's part of the sanctions against Iran, that their money in banks outside the country was frozen.
Okay.
They didn't have access to it. So we'll allow money that was frozen to go back to you, but you knock off the terrorism and the nuke programs. And Iran said, sure, that sounds like a great deal.
Okay.
And then didn't live up to the deal.
Uh-huh.
What a surprise.
Right.
And then when Biden came in, Biden carried on the Obama charade. I don't know. They were certainly naive, both administrations, to believe that the mullahs would do anything. All they wanted was the cash. And then they turned the cash around and sent it to Hamas to kill Jews. So, you're sitting there. I have a pretty realistic view of the world. It's not a partisan view or a party view. I know these people. I wrote Confronting Evil. Ayatollah Khomeini is on a cover. I know how these people think. I mean, they're never going to live up to anything. And, Trump wants a deal, and the deal is very specific because we would have to be verified every step of the way.
I know you speak to the president often. Let's give a hypothetical. He calls you and says, O'Reilly, what do I do? Last question on this topic. What do you tell him?
Well, I actually did have a conversation with him recently about this, but he'd never say, O'Reilly, what do I do? He never said that in a million years.
That's a shame.
The way it was phrased is, would you make a deal? And I said, yeah, I would make a deal, but you got to handcuff them so that they're basically impotent. They can't do anything. And you can do that in a variety of ways, which he knows. I said, the problem with military action is you're going to have 10, 20,000 dead Muslims sitting in the streets, and that's going to ignite a lot of anti-American feeling.
Yeah.
And you got to be very, very careful with that. So people denigrate Donald Trump on a basis that's horrifying to me. He knows. I don't have to explain to the president any of this. When I was involved with the hostage negotiations, the first round, he had a tremendous grasp of what was going on in Israel and Gaza. Tremendous. All right. And then when I spoke to him about Greenland, and I told him, look, you'll get what you want in a deal, but I don't know if you want to keep doing a military thing, because if you do, I have to then enlist in the Greenland army and fight you. I kept it really light, and then the next day he goes, well, we're not going to do that. I take a little bit of credit for that.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
He trusts me to put things in perspective. But I would tell you, Barack Obama is a smart guy. And anybody who thinks he wasn't is ridiculous. Trump is worldwide foreign policy knows much more than Barack Obama did.
All right, let's be honest. Most of us have lowered the bar when it comes to bras and underwear. We deal with straps that dig, fabric that stretches, and pieces that leave us feeling restricted and uncomfortable. Why? I've tried countless brands, but nothing holds up like Skims cotton jersey full briefs, because the fabric is incredibly soft but still supportive, and it actually keeps its shape, so there's no rolling and no constant adjusting. You'll have confidence and comfort all day long in these undergarments. Even after repeated washes, they still look and feel brand new. Skims is designed to be seamless, flattering, comfortable, and fit perfectly under any type of clothing. You feel secure and natural all at the same time. So there's no digging, no adjusting. Skims has become my wardrobe essential, and you should consider making it yours too. You can shop my favorite bras and underwear at skims.com/Jillian. And after you place your order, be sure to let them know that I sent you. Just select podcast in the survey and then select my podcast in the drop-down menu that follows. All right, guys, let's face it. Fast fashion falls apart fast, and high-end brands charge insane prices for logo hype, and honestly, it's insulting, which is just one of the reasons I'm obsessed with Quince. These guys deliver elevated essentials, timeless pieces built for effortless layering, mixing, and The clothes last season after season. I mean, my Quince leather jacket is soft, it's perfectly structured, it looks sharp, and it's ideal for everyday wearing. I mean, I've put big money on luxury jackets, and my Quince outperforms them all for a fraction of the cost. And they do it by skipping the middleman. They work directly with ethical factories so that we get premium materials and craftsmanship without the markup or the baloney. So think 100% organic cotton sweaters that feel amazing, premium stretch denim for all-day comfort, luxe cashmere that's soft and not itchy. Gotta hate itchy sweaters. And 100% European linen that breathes and endures. So stop settling and refresh your wardrobe with Quince. Don't wait. Go to quince.com/Jillian for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too. That's QUINCE.com/Jillian to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/Jillian. All right, let's be honest. The math is just not adding up lately between the grocery store and the skyrocketing insurance premiums. Even with a steady job, more families are being forced to rely on high-interest credit cards to cover expenses. If you're a homeowner and you're caught in that cycle, carrying balances with interest rates in the 20s or even the 30s, it's time to get some relief. And right now, mortgage rates are at a 3-year low. And my friends at American Financing are helping homeowners pay off that high-interest debt at rates in the low 5s. Their salary-based mortgage consultants don't just push loans. They build exit strategies from debt. And on average, they're saving their customers $800 a month. Plus, if you start today, you might even delay the next 2 mortgage payments. There's no upfront fees or obligations. So to find out how much you can save, America's home for home loans is American Financing. Just call 866-891-4811. That's 866-891-4811 or visit americanfinancing.net/Jillian. Wow. Okay. Speaking of people that denigrate the president, I want to shift gears for a second. I have watched Hillary Clinton over the past week say that Trump, we're in a war with Ukraine because Trump is profiteering, despite the fact that this started on Biden's watch.
I think that the Trump administration's position toward Ukraine is disgraceful. I think the effort to force Ukraine into a surrender deal with Putin is shameful. I think the effort that Putin and Trump are making to profit off the misery and death of the Ukrainian people is a historic error.
That the Clintons have nothing to do with the Epstein list, and I want to get into that, the details of that in just a second. She has said, when confronted about gender-affirming care at what I think was the Munich Security Conference on trans and kids, she tried to flip it and say that it was Trump wanting to deny women rights.
What I think Trump is doing in America, I think it is reaction for something for some policies that really went too far from the regular people, too far from reality. So, we saw the cancel culture. We saw the woke revolution. I don't agree with the gender revolution, the climate alarmism.
Which gender? Women having their rights?
No, let Peter go on.
I think there are 2 genders. So, but some of us think that there is more than 1 or more than 2 gender. I think there is male and female, and the rest probably is a social construct.
And I feel like this character is unrecognizable to the Hillary Clinton of 2016. And I only say that because I did follow the Clintons. At the time, don't hate me, Bill, I did vote for her. And the things she is saying now I just think, does this woman truly believe we are all morons? So I first want to get into the Epstein piece. So she just said, we have no links.
Do you regret the links that there have been?
We have no links. We have a very clear record that we've been willing to talk about, which my husband has said. He took some rides on the airplane for his charitable work. I don't recall ever meeting him.
Did you ever meet Ghislaine Maxwell?
I did on a few occasions, and thousands of people go to the Clinton Global Initiative. So it to me is not something that is really at the heart of what this matter is about. They are accused, and in both cases were convicted of horrific crimes against girls and women. That should be the focus. And we are more than happy to say what we know, which is very limited and totally unrelated to their behavior or their crimes. And we want to do it in public because let's make this transparent. The survivors deserve that. The public deserves that. But, you know, the Republican member of Congress who is running this hearing or this investigation is trying to protect the president. So let's get to what's really at stake here.
Now, let me just go over this real quick for anybody who doesn't know. Epstein was at Bill's White House 17 times. Bill was on his plane 26 times. Virginia Giuffre claims to have seen Clinton on the island there with young girls. There are numerous photos that exist of Bill Clinton with Epstein and young girls at various events. Bill Clinton is mentioned in the Epstein files over 1,000 times. Ghislaine Maxwell claims to have helped fund the Clinton Global Initiative. Ghislaine was at Chelsea's wedding, and Bill Clinton has been accused of assault by 4 different women. And she turns around and says, this is not about us. We have nothing to do with this. Am I a moron? Are they really just not involved with Epstein? Were they just totally innocent and it was just charitable? What is your honest take?
Well, I always give you my honest take, Jillian. I would never deceive.
I can't believe she said this. Am I just pissed at her? Have I become so tribal that
look,
I can't see the forest through the trees?
When Secretary Clinton says that Trump is profiting from the Ukraine war and can't back it up, I think we all know that comes out of bitterness. Okay? She lost to him, and she'll never get over that, ever in a million years. And I write about that extensively in my book, The United States of Trump. Very bitter. On the Epstein front, I don't believe Hillary Clinton had anything to do with Jeffrey Epstein other than using his money and his plane to do business for her foundation. Now, I've always been critical of the Clinton Foundation because they use that to travel all over the world, Bill and Hillary. They write it off against their foundation. And people give money to the Clinton Foundation. I mean, big money when she was Secretary of State. Now, I have a foundation, charitable. I don't take a dollar from anybody, and I don't write a dollar off on it, other than tax filings. That's not what charity to me is. But they've developed this big kind of corporate charity thing that benefits them, and that is the truth. But as far as Hillary Clinton is concerned, day to day with Epstein, I don't see it.
Okay.
But to say that Bill Clinton wasn't his pal is absolutely absurd. Of course he was.
Right.
And I don't know whether Congress has a Secret Service records or not. But remember, when a president past travels, Secret Service travel with him. So the Secret Service would have to be on the island if Bill Clinton were on the island.
Okay.
Simple as that.
Right.
Okay?
Right. Nobody's
asked the question. Nobody's demanded it. I hope Congress does next week because both Bill and Hillary have to testify. They say, look, Secret Service was with you when you were on the island or not on the island. I don't know. But I do know that they were pals, Epstein and Clinton. There's photo evidence to prove that. As far as criminality is concerned, I have no idea.
Understood.
I just don't know.
Of course. Okay. Speaking of the Epstein files, we've now seen action being taken around the world. So, just this morning, Prince Andrew was arrested. Norway has gone after their former Norwegian prime minister. He was charged with gross corruption and faces up to 10 years in prison because of his relationship with Epstein. I mean, the list is so long. The Princess of Norway had to make a public apology for staying on his freaking island. France has gone after, there's a special prosecutorial office set up to go after people who were engaged with Epstein. I mean, the France, Norway, the UK, everybody's taking action. And yet here in the States, Jay-Z is at the Super Bowl, and freaking Kathy Rumler, who was Obama's White House counsel and called Epstein Uncle Jeffrey and is involved in hiding money for rich people with this guy. All of these people, Summers, all these people, are they going to pay a price? Why are we not prosecuting these guys?
Because there isn't a criminal complaint against them.
Who would file it? The victims?
Of course.
What about an investigation?
Well, they've done it. They got 3 million pieces of paper. But in order to prosecute somebody, you have to have a complaining witness. You got to have one of the girls go in and say, this guy did this to me on this date. Epstein was there or whatever. And you gotta prosecute him. So okay, that hasn't emerged. I don't know why. There's a lot of civil action, a lot of money changed hands.
Right.
But if you are a victim of a crime, any crime, you have to go in and you have to swear out a complaint against a person that you say violated the law. And that's what's holding everything up.
So it's not, because here's how it appears. It looks like you've got freaking Kathy Rumler, who you've got, Epstein's doing business with her, working on deals to bury tax money offshore for billionaires. And there's one email where he's like, give her $10 million. I get $25 million. And they're setting up all these tax havens. How is there no crime there? She resigned, I guess, from wherever the heck she's working right now. But I'm just thinking, that's not a crime to do these things?
Sure, it's a crime. But the Justice Department, they have discretion on what to do and what not to do. So after Epstein was convicted of state charges in Florida and got a very light sentence, he gets out, and then he goes right back to doing what he was doing. All right. Now, anybody associating him with him after he's convicted of the underage thing, I mean, that's very, very poor judgment. It's not a crime.
Okay.
But it's very poor judgment.
Okay.
So those people you can put into a category. So those people, for whatever reason, all right? On the other side, you've got a country that's operating for 4 years under Merrick Garland, the Attorney General, and President Joe Biden. They did nothing. Not one investigation, not one piece of paper moved. Democratic Party didn't care. Nobody cared, okay? Now, the Trump administration before the Biden administration, pretty much in the same category. William Barr wasn't chasing Epstein around because I don't even think that that was a priority for them. Maybe it should have been, but I don't see any grand conspiracy here. Could be wrong. That's what the people are peddling on social media now, this big conspiracy to protect the rich and famous. Okay, but you've got two administrations and then now into a third. And all right, maybe that happened, but at this point, you've got to go to due process. All right, you have to say they weren't interested in this. And I don't know why.
Okay, see, it's the I don't know why, though, that, it's like, well, because the most powerful, wealthy people in the world on both sides of the aisle seem to be involved. The I don't know why part is the exceptionally tough part to understand. Do you think that these names, not of the victims, but of the people who are sending these correspondence back and forth, do you think they should be unredacted, or do you think that that's wrong?
Listen, this time last year, I talked to President Trump about this, and I said, somebody has got to look at this bulk of information. And if you're a DoorDash kid delivering burgers, your name shouldn't be in the files.
Right.
Because people don't pay attention to that.
No.
So if your name is associated with Jeffrey Epstein, for any reason, you're going to get hurt. And if somebody wants to take you out, take you off the board, punish you for some reason, and your name's there, they're going to use that against you. So you got to be very, very careful. Now, I had no idea at the time that I was discussing it with the president that there were 3 million pieces of paper. All right? I don't think anybody did. So the investigation was done. They accumulated this unbelievable amount of information pertaining to Jeffrey Epstein. 3 million sheets of paper? But for some reason, and I go back to the complaining witnesses, there wasn't in their mind, and I'm saying they're the Justice Department, both Democrat and Republican, a reason to hunt these people down. But to punish people who had a casual contact with Epstein, I don't think that's right.
There are insane emails, though, boss. Like, there's one from somebody to Jeff Epstein when apparently they were pandemic planning in 2011, saying, I was thinking about the conversation you had with Bill Gates the other day with regard to getting rid of the world's poor people. I have some thoughts, and I thought I surely would like to know the name of that individual. I feel like that person is not innocent. And it's just begetting more distrust. And that's the part that I think so many find frustrating, is that it perpetuates conspiracy theory to a certain extent because so many feel there's a lack of transparency.
Sure, it's going to go on just like the JFK assassination. It'll never end. But I disagree with you if somebody has an opinion about the world's poor people, has nothing to do with Epstein's crimes, and you put his name out there, what do you want to do? Punish the guy for an opinion?
Kind of. If he wants to get rid of all the world's poor people, I sort of want to know who that guy is.
All right, but I mean, it's more than that, though. You can mock the guy and deride the guy for his opinion, but that's not what being linked to Epstein's all about. Okay. It's total destruction.
Okay, I understand. Last question. Hillary Clinton says, we all know that you're only dragging us into the Epstein situation because Trump is hiding something. But you've just pointed out the fact that they had control of these files for 4 years. Why wouldn't they have used them to go after Trump? Is her argument it would be a mutually assured destruction? Like, she's claiming they're totally innocent. He says he's totally innocent. At the end of the day, if there was something insane in there on Trump, would they not have released it?
Sure. The Biden people would have absolutely released it. And then you had the report that Trump called the Palm Beach sheriff and said, go get him.
2006.
So look, we live in a country that has pretty much banished due process now. So you're guilty no matter what if somebody doesn't like you.
Okay.
People believe what they want to believe. So the Democratic Party doesn't like Trump. So he's guilty. He's guilty of, we don't know what he's guilty of, but we know he's guilty of something.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there going, look, you want to play that kind of game, you want to undermine the Constitution, you want to throw out due process, which is you are innocent until proven guilty, that's on you. But my job is to tell the truth. And right now, there is nothing linking President Trump with Epstein about any criminal activity at all. That's where we are. Now, could it be hidden in somebody's basement? Like, maybe, but that's not what I do. All right, I'm a fact-based guy.
I know, and that's why I love talking to you, because I got to be honest, there's a part of me that wants blood from some of these people, and then I get to hear your voice and talk to me about the way democracy works and due process and what you're allowed to go after and what you're not. And I appreciate you for putting my feet back on the ground and giving me a very educated take on all of this. Thank you, boss. I appreciate you so much. Where can everybody go to? Where can they go to get all of this wisdom on a daily basis?
Well, we're everywhere now. It's ridiculous. So BillO'Reilly.com is where we live. We have the No Spin News there, message of the day, and the columns. Then we're on News Nation on Monday and Wednesday in prime time. And then we're on YouTube. I have my own channel, youtube.com/Bill O'Reilly. It's ridiculous. It's like you.
Oh, yeah.
I have so many things going on. I don't even know what they are anymore.
One day you can be just like me, boss. Just keep working at it, and thank you.
I gotta do
so
a few
much.
sit-ups here,
a couple of push-ups too, and then I think you'll be good.
Right.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me, Jillian. Nice to see you.
You too.
Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the podcast, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. And make sure to let me know what guests you want to see on in the future.